except for the first one, because the first one is probably one of my favorites. So yeah, let's just get started. As always, I've got my glass of water right here. So this is your tip to stay hydrated. And yeah, let's get it started. The first one is about the phrase "I love you to the moon and back." The phrase "I love you to the moon and back" is often linked to the amount of energy a human heart produces in its lifetime. The heart generates enough energy every day to drive a truck 20 miles. And over a lifetime, that's equivalent to the distance between the moon to the moon and back. So saying "I love you to the moon and back" can mean you love someone It also has a huge storm called the Great Red Spot that's bigger than our whole planet. I think I've seen that with my own eyes once before. I've been on a holiday to America where I rented a RV, and at one of the parks we were staying, there was a party at the parking lot, and we were like, okay, let's drink something before we go and have a good time at the party. And when we arrived at the parking lot, there was no music, we couldn't hear people talking, and there were no lights, no party lights or anything. So we were like, oh, what kind of party is this? And then it was, I think, about 10 park rangers with telescopes looking at the stars. And I think one of them showed us the Great Red Spot on Jupiter. It was one of the best nights I've ever had in my life. Way better than a party. Where were we? Saturn's rings are made of ice and rock. The rings look solid, but they're actually made of billions of small pieces, from dust-sized grains to chunks the sizes of houses. They sparkle because they reflect sunlight. Saturn's rings make it one of the most beautiful planets to see through the telescope. I mean, the most beautiful planet is Earth, in my opinion, but a close second is definitely Saturn. Mercury has the shortest year of the solar system because it's the closest planet to the Sun. Mercury moves very quickly around its orbit. It takes just 88 days to go all the way around the Sun. That means a year on Mercury is less than 3 months long for us. But strangely, its days are very long. Its days. One day on Mercury, sunrise to sunset, last about 176 Earth days. Of sunrise to sunrise, but still 176. Damn. It's so strange how space works like that with every planet has different rotation times and years. The Sun holds 99.8% of all the mass in the solar system. That means almost everything, all planets, moons, asteroids and comets, make up just 0.2% of the system's mass. The Sun is so huge that over 1 million Earths could fit inside it. Yeah, is that true? Without the Sun's gravity, the planets wouldn't stay in orbit. We'll all go flying off into space. I mean, yeah. Could 1 million Earths fit into the Sun, or is it the mass of Earth could fit 1 million times into the Sun? I don't know. I mean, like I said, this is ChatGPT. They are not fact-checked, So if you are someone who knows a lot more than me about space, and you're listening to this and you're thinking, hey, this is all wrong, I'm sorry. Let us know in the comments if it's true or not. The moon is slowly moving away from Earth. It's drifting about 1.5 times heavier than Earth is wrong. Uranus spins on its side. Most planets spin upright, but Uranus is tipped over. It rotates at a 98-degree angle. Scientists think it was knocked sideways by a giant collision long ago. As a result, its seasons are extreme. Each one lasts about 21 Earth days. Neptune has the fastest winds in the solar system. Some of its storms reach speed over 1,200 miles per hour or 2,000 kilometers an hour. That's faster than a jet airplane. It's a cold blue planet that's very far from the sun, but it's still incredibly active. Scientists think the winds are driven by an internal heat trapped deep inside the planet. Alright, that's pretty cool. A light year is a measure of distance, not time. It's the distance that light travels in 1 year, about 6 trillion miles or 9.5 trillion kilometers. That's fast, since light moves at 186,000 miles per second. So when we say a star is 100 light years away, it means we're seeing the light that left it 100 years ago. So, for instance, it's just crazy to think that the stars we look at night that are 100 light years away, the light we see is from 100 years ago. Depending on when we saw the light first, of course. Pluto is a dwarf planet now. It was considered the 9th planet for 76 years, but in 2006 scientists redefined what makes a planet. Pluto is small, icy, and hasn't cleared its orbit of other space debris, so it got reclassified. It still orbits the sun and has moons, including one called some comets return regularly. I'm sorry, my English isn't that good for that word. Regularly. Like Halley's Comet, which appears every 76 years. I didn't know that the trail always points away from the sun. That's pretty cool. Space smells weird. Astronauts say that after a spacewalk, their suits smell like burnt steak, welding fumes, or gunpowder. The smell comes from high-energy particles and atoms that cling to the suit. Even though they can't smell anything in the vacuum of space, it leaves a strong odor when it reacts with the air back inside the spacecraft. Oh wow. But why? You know, that leaves the question why. Jupiter's storms can last for centuries. Its most famous storm, the Great Red Spot, is a massive hurricane that has been swirling around for over 350 years. It's more than twice as the size of Earth and shows no signs of stopping. Jupiter's atmosphere is full of violent weather, lightning, clouds, and even fast winds. Not the most fun planet to be on. Some stars are bigger than entire solar systems. There are stars called supergiants that make our sun look tiny. One of them, UY Scuti, is so big that if it replaced our sun, it will stretch past the orbit of Jupiter. Even though they're huge, some of these stars aren't very dense. They're like giant balls of gas. So Jupiter is far away, right? So it would engulf, what was it? Stretch past the orbit of Jupiter. Is that even past the Earth? I don't know. Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system. Even though Mercury is the closest to the Sun, Venus has a thick, toxic atmosphere made mostly of carbon dioxide. It creates a runaway greenhouse effect, trapping heat. The surface gets as hot as 900 Fahrenheit or 475 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to melt lead. Pretty cool. Earth is the Goldilocks zone. That's the area around the star where it's not too hot, not too cold, just right for liquid water. And where there's water, there also could be life. Earth is a perfect distance from the sun, and it makes the only known planet with ocean, weather, and living things. Yeah, like I once saw that the amount of percentage on how perfect in place the Earth is to be balanced in to produce life, and it's crazy. We're so lucky. You weigh less on the moon than on Earth. The moon has only 1/6 of Earth's gravity, so you'd weigh much less there. If you weigh 120 pounds on Earth, you only weigh 20 pounds on the moon. That's why astronauts can bounce around so easily in the video from the moon landing. Like 1/6 of gravity, cool. Space isn't totally empty. Even in darkest parts of space, there are tiny particles, stray atoms, light, and cosmic rays flying around. is there? What's there to find? The Hubble Space Telescope can see galaxies billions of light years away. Hubble orbits above Earth's atmosphere, so it can take crystal clear photos of the universe. It has helped scientists discover new planets, stars, and distant galaxies. Some of the light it captures started traveling towards us before Earth even existed. Let me read that again. Some of the light it captures started traveling towards us before Earth even existed. That's crazy that we can look at that light right now. Earth's atmosphere protects us. It shields us from dangerous space radiation and solar rays. It also burns up most meteors before they hit the ground. That's what makes shooting stars. Without the atmosphere, life on Earth couldn't survive. Yeah, who doesn't love a shooting star? Shooting stars are actually burning space rocks. They're really meteors, pieces of rock or metal that enter Earth's atmosphere. As they speed in, they're bent up from friction with air, creating a bright streak of light. Most are small and not even hit the ground. Or never hit the ground. But when they do, the dinosaurs know. The moon has no atmosphere. That means there's no weather, no wind, and no sound. It also means the moon can't keep heat, so it's very hot in the day and freezing cold at night. That's why astronauts need special suits to survive there. Right, I didn't know that it's very hot and very cold. But how hot and how cold? We want to know. You can't cry in space like you do on Earth. Without gravity, tears don't fall. They stick to your eyes and float in blobs. Crying in space can actually be uncomfortable because the tears just build up. Astronauts have to wipe them away or wait for them to drift off. But why would you cry in space? Because it's so beautiful. The Voyager spacecraft have left the solar system. Hey, ChatGPT, I think this is a writing error. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were launched in 1977 to study the other planets. They've now traveled so far that they've entered interstellar space, the area beyond our sun's influence. Each one carries a golden record with sounds and images from Earth, just in case aliens find them. I've got the golden record on my Spotify. I just listened to it once, but it's very, very strange. But very, very cool as well. A day on Mars is just a little longer than on Earth. It lasts about 24 hours and 37 minutes. Because of that, Mars days are called sols. That makes Mars easier to study with rovers and landers, since its daily rhythm is close to ours. Makes sense. The Sun is about 4.6 billion years old. It's formed from a cloud. Oh, my lenses are twisted. Wait. Yes. It's formed from a cloud of gas and dust long ago and has been shining ever since. It's about halfway through its life. Eventually, it will run out of fuel and change into a red giant. Then a white dwarf. Yes, we've learned about that, but that's in about 5 billion years, so we're still good. In space, metal can stick together They spin super fast and can shoot out beams of light like lighthouses in space. A teaspoon filled with a mountain. Crazy. Earth travels around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. That's nearly 19 miles per second. Even though we don't feel it, Earth is always moving. And while we orbit the sun, the whole solar system is orbiting the center of the Milky Way. Yeah, we are going fast, boy. Sunlight takes about 8 minutes to reach Earth. That's because the sun is 93 million miles away. When you see sunlight, you're actually seeing light that left the sun 8 minutes ago. We're always a bit behind in seeing what's happening. So, if you look at a sunset, just know the sun is gone by 8 minutes already. Galaxies can collide. Even though they're huge, galaxies can move through space and sometimes clash into each other. In about 4 billion years, the Milky Way will collide with our neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. Don't worry, the stars are so far apart, most of them won't hit each other. So, our galaxy, the Milky Way, will collide sooner with the Andromeda Galaxy than our sun will die. Will become a white dwarf. Looking at stars is like looking back in time. Because light takes time to travel, when you look at a star, you're seeing it as it looked years ago. Years, centuries, or even millions of years ago. The further away from a star, the further back in time you look. So the night sky is really a kind of time machine. And those were the 50 facts. Pretty interesting. Some were new for me. Others weren't. I kind of have to work on my pronunciation and reading abilities. But this was pretty fun. I think there are loads of topics we could explore, and there are a lot of facts still about space to tell, but I have a lot of topics in mind, so don't worry, this won't be the last fact video, but I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I hope you found some relaxation in it, and maybe you've learned something new. Which one was my favorite? Probably. The first one, of course. Should I remind you? Let's remind you. Why not? I love you to the moon and back. The phrase "I love you to the moon and back" is often linked to the amount of energy a human heart produces in its lifetime. The heart generates enough energy every day to drive a truck 20 miles, and over a lifetime that's equivalent to the distance to the moon and back. So saying "I love you to the moon and back" can mean you love someone with all the energy your heart will pump throughout your life. So next time you tell someone